Found out that many people are educated greatly in femininity, and sometimes even churches, in our attempt to help marriages get better, we educate people on being female, on their gender. They're like, put this on for your husband, make sure you look like this, make sure you sound like this. But you can be very feminine and actually very illiterate about the office of a woman. And so you have no impact in the life of your husband. I believe you cannot define a woman just based on, one standard, maybe the physical or the spiritual. Both of them come together. So the Bible says he made them in his image and in his likeness. So if we're going to define the woman, in fact, many of the wars are around the image, so she has a body, she has a womb, she has a that. All of that is true, because the image and the likeness needs to be complete. So in the image, a woman, yes, is a female vessel that carries a spiritual office that is a product of a nature of God that has been given to her. And so God said it is not good for man to be alone. And when you look at the word good, is the Hebrew word tov. And the word tov is actually the inherent ability that a thing possesses to be able to replicate the will of God in future generations without the intervention of God. So God said it is impossible for man to replicate his will in future generations if he does not have a woman. You then realize that good for God was not just, oh, this is nice. Good is the measurement of God's will and the ability of that will to continue to reproduce itself in the future. Now, he said it is not possible for that to happen unless there's a woman. And so God creates this being that has the capacity to not only dwell with the man in the bodily form for companionship and satisfaction, but has the capacity to consistently measure the seasons and the journeys of man to ensure that it can replicate God's will in the future. So a woman is a spiritual being that journeys with the man, following God's government that he has given to the man as a blueprint, ensuring that there's a replication of God's goodwill in the future. And she does that in the spirit and in the physical by producing children, but in the spirit by producing God's will, working alongside the man.